MSK Žilina, not necessarily a familiar name to followers of Welsh football. The draw was made for the Europa League on August the 10th. We will be playing on the 27th. How have you prepared in those days in between?
We've prepared by each of the coaches making sure that we've seen all the games of them, seen 4 games. We've made sure that we know about their players, their ages, where they play, what foot they use, everything you want to give back to the players really, set plays, what they like. They're very strong, by the way, set plays. They've got some nice technical footballers, watching some of their movements. I've been well impressed with how they play the game, how they go about their business. And I would say that if you had a word to describe them, it's young, energetic, hungry footballers.
And their season has already started. They've had mixed fortunes so far, though. They do sit in 4th place in a 12-team league. They've had 2 very good wins on the road, but also 2 defeats. Does that suggest that they're still looking to establish their own consistency this season?
Yeah, I think so. It shows a little bit of inexperience in the side which they've got. They're littered with 19, 20, 21-year-olds, 28-year-old, I think the striker is. The rest of them are young boys. So with quality comes a little bit of inexperience with them and a bit of momentum, a little bit of dip in form maybe. So you get that with young players. They can't stay in the team for 3, 4, 5 games and consistently perform. We have that, we know that. So it might be a case of that. It might be just finding their feet, new season. Don't know whether it's new management, but certainly, played 4, won 2, lost 2.
And the game, of course, as we all know, is just over 1 leg. Usually, if a team is here for the first leg, they have their game at home to prepare. We've seen the likes of Apoel, Videoton come with a very definite game plan, knowing that they have another 90 minutes on home turf a week later. This time round, that's not the case. Would that work in TNS's favour, perhaps?
A one-off game will always help you because you're at home, you're used to it, used to the surroundings. We know how the pitch works. We know our routine generally for home games. So, they're away from home. They've never been here before. Some of them, it might be their first, well, I would say not some of them, I say the majority of them will be their first European experience. So when you take all that into account, how does their manager set them up? Does he say, sit in for 60 minutes and then go at them? But, we're of the opinion that we've done well the last few weeks. Nothing changes. We have to give them all the respect they deserve because they look like a very good footballing side. But when they come here, like opposition have done, maybe sat back and try to, see what we take the advantage in the game, and you can't do that. There's no second chances. There's no change. There's no 0-0 game here or lose 1-0 and then take us back to their place, which a lot of teams do come and do at Park Hall, as you suggested. So I think we've got to be on the front foot. We've got to take it as a one-off game, as a big cup game, which it is, and give it our best. And I've just spoke to the staff there and I've said, we've prepared correctly. We've done everything we can for the players. We've given the players information. We've shown them how they play. It'll be down to them on the day. If we've given as much, if we give as much tomorrow as we've given in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, then I'll stand back there and I'll be happy.
Both on and off the pitch, it's been an unprecedented year for the new Saints. How important have the friendlies, especially against the likes of Liverpool, Tranmere Rovers, Wolverhampton Wanderers, been in terms of not just preparation, but also returning to some sort of normality as far as football's concerned?
When you've missed so much football and when you've missed so much training, there's nothing like getting back and playing games. So to have the opposition, the strength of the opposition, like you've said, 2 of those teams, there was under 23s teams. So it's vital that we've been matched up against those teams, because Žilina are predominantly 19, 20, 21-year-old boys. You could call it in that same environment. So I think it's worked well this year. Played Tranmere, who obviously were only a week in, 2 weeks in or something like that. So that was a different sort of test because you're coming up against experienced professionals there. But I think it was very good that we played Liverpool 23s and Wolves 23s, because it's exactly what we're going to be coming up against on Thursday.
There have been a number of signings, some from within the club, come through the academy system, but 3 in particular external signings. How happy have you been with their slotting in to the squad, the way that you want to play? And also, will those players be in contention for a first team starting place tomorrow?
All three in contention. All 3 have been excellent since they came in on the first day, or Ryan came in a little bit later. So nothing but praise for them. Everything about them, attitude, the work ethic, the application in training, giving them bits of information. There's been not cross words with any of them, as you'd expect as a new signing. But likewise with our own players who have stayed here from last season that we've given contracts to, been top notch really. They've been excellent. They know that last season wasn't good enough. We don't need to keep going on about it, but we do need to remember it, and we also need to put it right. And I think there's no better start to it than tomorrow night, where we can go and show how good we are.
The last interview that we did was following the friendly against the Liverpool under-23s, and I asked you the question, have you got your starting lineup sorted, or are the places up for grabs? You went towards the latter answer, but with just 1 day to go now, is it all done and dusted?
Yeah, players know the team. At the final presentation earlier, good 15-20 minutes on different things and about lessons that we've learned from the past few years since I've been in charge, and obviously that stems from a lot longer as well, with when I was assistant and obviously playing. So we've got a lot of experience in that group, with hundreds of games. If you look at the squad and how many games we've played, been involved in, Steve Evans, Christian Sargent, myself, there's probably 80 European games there between us. You've got H there, 40 odd games, 45 games, just to name a few. The rest, there's 20s, there's 30s, lots and lots of experience. So it's vital that these players are helping the new players that come through. Any questions that they've got, any little bits of advice they can give them before the game. It's a good situation to be in, and obviously you don't want to go on record as to say, look, we're going to go out there and we're going to beat this team, because I know full well that could bite us in the bum. They're a good side. We have to be at our best. Maybe they have an off day, but if the players produce what I've seen, I'll echo it again, if they've done everything they've done since July the 4th, then hopefully we get a good performance tomorrow night.
And back to the Liverpool interview, you said that there would be disappointed players, and the squad has performed so well in pre-season friendlies. Those disappointed players will now know who they are. How did you as a manager deal with that, and how did you approach those players generically to let them know that they wouldn't be playing?
So I've spoke to a couple of players in the last few days. I've spoke to 3 or 4 today, and I'll be reiterating that if they want to come and speak to me, they can. So it's tough. I would say it's been the toughest decision team-wise since I took over. Sometimes here the teams pick themselves. Sometimes players are of the opinion probably that they should be starting because of what they've done in the past, but it's not about what's the past, it's about what's happening now. Have those 11 done everything they can to get into the starting lineup? Yes, they have done. They've been told that. Now it's time for them to respect the substitutes and make sure that they do everything right to go on and get a positive performance, maybe in the first half or in the second half, and then those players, those substitutes that have maybe been hard done by, can come on and change the game if needed. But it's a squad game. We've got a fantastic squad, and they'll be used, whether it's the next game, whether it's a game after that, or whether it's the 4th game down the line. We will need everybody this season.
And the real positive is, as you say, it is a fantastic squad, lots of players competing for places, and it's not just the European game tomorrow, it's also the JD Cymru Premier, bread and butter, as it were, for the new Saints. That's another long season ahead.
Yeah, and obviously because we're starting later, there'll be some midweek games thrown in, so your Tuesday. So I love that. I'd like to play Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday for a good 6-7 week period, because I love our teams playing, and I'd rather have us playing games than training. So yes, so we've got to be adaptable. We've got to make sure that the squad we pick are not flogged, and that if anyone's looking tired, they're out the team, and someone as strong, or if not stronger, will come into the team. it might be a choice of mine that someone's just not quite fit enough to play at the moment, but in 3 weeks' time they'll be flying. So there's all reasons why I've chose the 11 I've chose, and I'll say to players, if they want to come into my room and ask me why, I'll tell them exactly why. And if they still disagree with me, so be it, but I've made that choice. And all I ask for is respect on that decision, and go out and prove to me you can still play for the team, because a manager's job is not easy. Everyone thinks it's just turn up, do a bit of coaching and pick the team, but I can assure you there's a lot more to it than that.
And finally, with the game being over one leg, as we've said, there are lots of unknowns. How would you envisage the game turning out in terms of how it will start and then how it will develop?
Well, are they going to come here and be cagey? Are they going to come and sit behind the ball and say, well, come on to us then? We're a possession-based team. We have 70% of the possession against most of the teams that we play against. If not 70, 65, sometimes 60. But we know that if we're playing against Liverpool, playing against Tranmere, playing against Wolves, and we're still dominating in terms of possession at times, then we're doing something right. So it's one where we will continue to do what we do well. If they are of such a high quality that they come out and dominate, then we might have to just sit back a bit and use our experience, European know-how as to, all right, look lads, just tuck in a little bit, don't be going so much, don't leave yourselves open. There's enough quality in our team, there's enough good players to dictate from on side that and inside the pitch.